you're okay with being 100% confident while using reasons that are not 100% reliable.
I don't think anything's 100% reliable. So
So why be 100% confident?
I guess it's a fair point. I guess it's a fair point. I don't know.
See how long these last before they overheat.
I mean, they're in the sun. You should get umbrellas for them, not us.
Yeah. All right, Logan.
Yes.
I'm David.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
So we were kind of talking a little bit before. Did I explain what we were doing okay, or did you need more clarification or anything?
Yeah, give me more like a presentation, because I want to get more. Well, while I'll do that, I'll get more of a grasp of what I think is
Sure.
appropriate to maybe.
Cool.
inflict.
So our goal is to explore the quality of the reasons
Mhm.
that you use to support the confidence that you have in a conclusion being true.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different ways we can do this. We can do it where you tell me what your belief is or what your conclusion is, and I can ask questions about it. We can do it where you don't tell me what the claim is, and I can still try to ask you the same types of questions about the quality of the reasons. We can have kind of a meta conversation about what your criteria is for something to be true.
Yeah.
We can explore the reasons for why you are supporting a certain political candidate without telling me who the candidate is.
Okay.
We tried that yesterday, and it was kind of fun. So, any of those options sound?
I guess like an idea did pop in my head.
Okay.
And that was I think public transit should be way more accessible for everyone.
Public transit?
Public transit. I'm very advocate about that.
All right. What's informing your passion about that topic?
Well, when you go somewhere that has like train access and bike lanes and more pedestrian friendly areas, there's this more integration that you get into a community. You pass by a lot more people. You're interacting with them more. To me at least, I want to be able to stop and talk to them, understand what's going on in the communities, where's the best spot to go. And, when you're stuck in these personal little metal tanks, air conditioned and everything, I think that separates our innate need to really connect with one another. And I don't know, there's nothing more, I think, beautiful than being able to take like a train from one state to another and like watching, the journey. Because, we have this obsession with instant gratification nowadays, which concerns me because I grew up with the internet, and my generation got very used to this give and take, or this instant gratification that we got from these new beloved technologies, which, mind you, have revolutionized, I think, a lot of good things in the world, but have also created some like rubbish that we need to like organize and go through and talk about. When can we appropriately give ourselves the confidence to do the thing that the machine does in 10 seconds.
Okay.
And I think it's much more healthier to have human beings talk to each other every day through public transit and through walking around, because then they understand each other more and might be able to work together and organize more. Because I feel like with cars and with suburbia, it's making it harder for us to congregate, which is concerning to me, because I want us as a people to remember our powers and our numbers, us to feel confident in our voices. It's one thing to go to a ballot and vote, but it is another thing to be able to raid the streets and parade and say, like, this is our opinion, this is how we feel as a community, this is what we want to get done. We often forget about our numbers, and they're really, really important, because while there may be institutions and policies in place that we had advocated for in the past, it does not mean that we are powerless to work that around. We are not powerless to know each other either. I've made such a big commitment to talk to a lot of people when they pass me in the morning, even if it's just good morning, or even if it's just like, hey, did you see this and that, just a few blocks down, like, were you concerned about that, just because it's important that we talk, and those more public walkable spaces, I think, can provide a stronger sense of community, and I think that's important for human beings.
Okay. So I'm hearing uh, several things that sound very important to you. Community integration, human connection, beauty, health. If we had a pie chart of that list, what would take the biggest piece of pie in your mind?
I'd say I want to equate beauty with love. So I think, I want to equate a community with love. So I think, list those lists again. My brain's all farting.
It's cool. That's why I take notes. So the things that are important to you: community integration, human connection, beauty, because you were talking about how you're able to see the landscape a lot better from like trains.
Yeah.
And that method of travel, and health, like it's healthier to use public transit.
Yeah, for real.
So
I think
out of all those, what's the biggest piece?
The biggest is the human connection. The human connection.
Okay. All right. So what's the main reason that supports your conclusion that public transit leads to more or better human connection?
The congregation, subject matter of it. We're congregating and seeing each other more every day.
Okay.
We're interacting with one another.
The congregation.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus the isolation that we get in our cars.
Get in our cars, get in suburbia. We all want to have our personal little home theaters. We want to plug in and, go to like Zip Zap World and, zip zap right off. But, there's arguments to be made when it comes to virtual reality, because you are interacting with people on a digital space, and there it becomes like, almost a digital congregation, which I think is radical in itself. But we also have to consider the health when it comes to our planet. And I think first and foremost, I'm a big tree hugger. I'm big into hugging trees. Number one hobby. So I think like we need to understand that the physicality, our physical realities, even though we can maybe go out into Zip Zap World and have our digital spaces, but also understand the importance of how those physical spaces, can correlate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is public transit the best way to increase human connection?
I guess I would have to say that it's somewhere near it. Because for me, like, I can't think of I guess, more personal way than interacting with people, in your community currently. Because even though that we can I guess, congregate in digital spaces, like I mentioned, like in virtual reality, because people love VR chat and they meet tons of friends and tons of people like themselves from across the world, and that allows us to be closer in that respect. But it comes down to I think the physical matter. Um, you can respect the fact that you can surf overseas in a millisecond, you know, digitally, but where you're from and where you're rooted, plays part in that. And
Like sharing the same physical space.
yeah, sharing the same physical space.
Okay, is there a better way to raise human connection?
Maybe more parks, building of more parks where kids can play. Um, not only the building of parks, but
So that's a better way than public transit?
not a better way, but it's in part of it. Public transit, more parks, more community spaces, less spaces built for individual enjoyment and congregational enjoyment.
Okay.
Spaces where we feel comfortable interacting with each other without um, without the screens, I guess.
Okay.
Without digital interference.
How could we test this idea that public transit leads to better human connection?
I think interviewing, like we are now, to people overseas who have better access to those sorts of things, not necessarily trying to spend all the money and make a type of community right off the bat. Just going where it exists, going where it's somewhat saturated.
So asking people to describe their experience.
I think maybe taking scientific look at what it does for the people as a whole.
Okay, so what would that process look like?
Um, as far as I know, when it comes to research like that, I guess experts, of course, who are well mannered in that, who can take down data and look into the emotional and uh, the emotional, the physical, and the overall wellness that having access to that public transit it does for them. It can be through interviews like this. It could just be through point in numbers, like we saw so and so amount of people, do this, as opposed to being in like, for example, I think one quick argument, and this comes from on YouTube I watch a lot of not just bikes, and a bus transports more people than a car. Most of the time the average number that a car transports is probably like 2 to 3, and a bus can put in what 4 cars worth of people into one space, leaving less cars on the road. So gathering numbers like that, but also personal interviews with people to figure out exactly what it does for them in a positive light.
What's more reliable, interviewing people or researching what experts say and their data?
I would have to say maybe interviewing, because that's the person talking. If we have a video or transcript of somebody like myself explaining their opinions and explaining their ideas, this again leads back to human connection. We as a human race are completely allowed to investigate our own race, and listening to people to sit down and talk about what they believe in, and getting to know their context allows us to think like, okay, we think in all different manners and all different ways, and gathering a general consensus of what their opinion on the matter is.
0 to 100, how confident are you that public transit leads to better human connection?
100%.
100?
100%.
Okay. Are interviewing people, or is conducting interviews with people about their experience 100% reliable?
I think I want to say 50-50. 50-50 on interviewing, 50-50 on the data and the numbers and what they take. Because it's important to look at all sides of the equation.
Okay. So if we didn't have the data and all we had were the interviews, would that cause you to be only 50% confident that your conclusion is true?
I see what you're asking. I know that I would sit down and watch all those interviews. And I know I'd have a ball of listening to people's stories.
How does that affect whether it's true or not, though?
Well, yeah, so it doesn't. And I'd say if all we had was the interview, and were to throw the question right back at me that it was true that public transit is for the betterment of human connection, I'd still say 100% because it's something I want to fight for. It's just something I feel is right. It's that integral feeling of like I know that's only gonna do good things.
Why is because I want to fight for it a good reason to think that something's true?
I like that because it almost brings out this patriotic feeling in me, right? Like I know public transit's right. I'm gonna, like, and you get like really confident about it. You want to get on a soapbox and you want to preach about it and be like, I found the answer. And it ignites that human emotion of that patriotic like flair where we're like, gotta get it right. And
Can somebody have that and be mistaken?
what was that?
Can somebody have that feeling
Yeah,
and be mistaken
absolutely. I could be mistaken right now.
Are you still at 100?
Am I still at 100? I'm stubborn, and yes. I am fully aware that, I could be mad. I am fully aware I could be mad. But
I actually was concerned that the cop would stop me.
It's just something that, I'm sad on. And, I'm 100% in it right now. But, like, if you were to sit me down maybe and there was like this guy's I got the biggest conspiracy, we're all supposed to be in our cars and we're all supposed to be shut off and we're all supposed to be in our little nests and cave because big kahuna's coming or something, and I don't know, I love this planet a lot, and if my goal, which is the goal of public and transit being like integrated and important, gets me out and seeing this planet more, I'm sorry, I think there's a better way and we can make it work. Like, I think that we as a race can understand, like, it's good to be out here. It's good to talk to you. It's good to have these conversations, even though I'm tripping on a lot of things. And, I'm pretty sure, some people are going to be, what the hell is he talking about? I still think that, like, it's important that we do all that. It's important that we just do all that. And I have that strong belief of public transit keeping within me because it's just ingrained. That's just something that, I don't know, it's one of those things that you can't shake. If it gets me outside more and gets me talking to somebody, hell, gets me meeting somebody that I wouldn't have the chance to meet because I couldn't get on the bus, then shit, like, I've met so many wonderful people on transit. So many people that, maybe I don't get the numbers of, but so many people I could talk to. I've talked to so many wonderful people in Columbus, on public transit when I was in college, and even now when I still use it. And if I were to lose that, and if someone were to tell me that was bad, I'd call them mad, and storm off, and But yeah.
Last question, we can wrap up.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're 100% confident while using reasons that are not 100% reliable. And my question is, are you okay with that?
Repeat it.
You're 100% confident using reasons that you say you could be mistaken. People could arrive at false conclusions using these reasons. Are you okay with being 100% confident in something while not using reasons that are 100% sufficient or reliable?
I'm going to have to say I have to be, and I am, because we see that in science every day. We see that in exact type of studies, and people morph and take context out of those studies every day, and we keep hitting, I think, walls and stuff, and we always argue, and we're like, no, the numbers mean this, and the curtains are blue because of that. So yeah, I think I'm okay with it, because I think That's
You're-
just nature.
You're okay with being 100% confident while using reasons that are not 100% reliable.
I don't think anything's 100% reliable. So
So why be 100% confident?
I guess it's a fair point. This is a fair point. I don't know. It goes back to what I said before. Remember, I told you we were standing over there, and I said I think I'm comfortable with not knowing, and I don't know. I can't. Here, I'll tell you what. I've been trying to understand. There's something that my dog does. He does this. I swear he's part coyote, because he just acts a little strange. He looks a little off. He's a mutt. He was found in the woods. But he does this when he's begging. He does this thing where he kind of swirls around on the floor. I assume that it's begging, because he swirls around on the floor and he looks at me and he's smiling and he's like going around. And I was like, what does this mean? Why do you do it? And to me, that brings back, what you just said to me, because it's like I don't know why I'm 100% confident in using reasonings that I know can be faulty and know can produce the wrong things. It's just because, I think from experience, from being able to go out into the world and talk to people like you and on public transit and in my town and while hiking or while going on morning walks with my dog, just solidifies the fact that I know that having this ability to congregate and walk freely and transport freely is a blessing and something that everyone should have the access to.
If you went from 100 to 99, what would that mean for you?
109, no.
Because after exploring the reasoning process, what's wrong with decreasing your confidence if you're convinced that the reasons that you're using aren't 100% reliable? I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like there has to be a binary, whether you're either 100 or 0, or are you okay with holding a conclusion on a spectrum instead of black and white? And I guess I'm giving you the opportunity.
Oh, I see. Okay.
To adjust your confidence, and it doesn't mean that you have to abandon the belief.
Yeah, absolutely. I think oh, it's so funny because the stubborn part of me is and then the other side of the brain's like, well, he's got a point.
We you know what? We can end it there.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You have I'm going to say you have a point. You have absolutely
something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And consider.
I love that. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Logan.
you so much. Yeah.
It's really coming down.
You're free to ask me any questions. I've been asking you all the questions, so I like to give a chance for you to ask me anything if you have any questions for me. It's okay if you don't have any. Just saying.
What's your favorite thing about a tree?
My favorite thing about a tree? It might be context related, but lately it's been the shade that it provides.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this day and age, man. It's important.
Yeah. So that might be.
My other idea was plant more trees other than...
Okay.
That was my other
We
idea.
can always do another talk some other time, and
Absolutely.
we could explore that and the reasoning that supports that.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much,
Yeah,
man.
you're
You have a good
welcome.
one. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
You too.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff. Tell me about yours.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the kid thing, but anyway.
It's really coming down.
Yeah, it was good. It was just, and I think this area is focused on something very particular to the, seems like transit. Yeah, because this was about bikes on sidewalks, because we actually not allowed to ride bikes on sidewalks here. And Desmond thought that it should not be that way, that it shouldn't be illegal.
Do you think Desmond is 18?
No. That's what I was going to ask you about.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be cool to get his parents' consent.
Yeah. That's what I was. You were walking away, and then Desmond came over to talk, and I was trying to like yell at you, but you.
Oh,
I was going to ask you if
too
it
much
was.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Maybe it's best to assume not. Best to assume not, but no. Desmond is. There's no way. I don't know how old Desmond is, but definitely
You're not convinced they're
No.
18.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So how about yours then?
Fantastic. He's 100% confident. And throughout, because of the conversation, he's convinced that the reasons that he uses are not 100% reliable. But he's stubborn. He says that he's stubborn. And that's what's keeping him at 100.
Oh, interesting.
And we ended it at a really good stopping point to cause
Gotcha.
more thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have any like conversation focusing in on the stubbornness, like where it comes from, maybe strategies to deal with it, or how it's affected him in the past?
That would have been great. We had already gone for a bit,
Yeah, quite a while.
and we came to a spot where I felt was a really good time to end. But those are awesome questions. Like, where does this stubbornness come from? I think if I had had more time or whatever, I may have asked him, like, what are the downsides for being stubborn about a belief?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's like, would you want somebody that disagrees with you to be just as stubborn about their ability to move their confidence?
Right. Where did you end though? How did you end it?
The realization that the reasons they don't support where he's at.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that was a pretty good spot to end it, I think. Yeah.
I like
Interesting.
That was good. Super nice guy too.
Any other thoughts about it?
Another thing he said at the end was that he doesn't know. And I was like, then why are you at 100?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
And also kind of gave him the opportunity to shift maybe from 100 to 99 without feeling the need that he has to abandon the belief.
Yeah.
Just that maybe it might be appropriate to recalibrate the confidence based on the quality of the reasons that he's using.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting stuff.
It was good. Thought there was a lot of reflection.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if that was a coincidence. I don't imagine it's a coincidence this area is concerned with transportation.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
Well, because so many people come here, there's so many cars, it's such a frequented place that transportation, I think a lot of this, what's going on here relies on transportation for both good and bad reasons.
Well, he was using the topic of public transit to really express his values and needs of human connection.
Mm-hmm.
And no pun intended, but he was using public transit topic as a vehicle to express that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So we talked about, like, how does public transit affect human connection? Is this the best way to do it? What's the best way to test it? Through interviews and data. Interviews being 50% and data being 50%. And so I said, well, if we took the interviews away, would that cause you to go from 100 to 50? He's like, no, I'd still be at 100. Because he's passionate about human connection, taking care of the planet,
Yeah.
and those kinds of ideas. So
Nice.
yeah, it was good.
Hello.
Cool. Try to get another one, huh?
Yeah.